G'day riders. Today, I'm baffled again. A little while ago I installed the Super Q baffles from Vance and Hines in my Vance and Hines Shortshot pipes. You can check out that video here. What I've discovered is that while they do reduce the sound dramatically, they also baffle and limit the engine capability as well. So these Super Q baffles might be good for somebody who's riding fairly constant speeds, relatively low speeds, and fairly straight, flat roads. Because the riding that we do has a lot of curves, a lot of speeding up and slowing down, a lot of hills, the Super Q baffles have meant that the engine is just underpowered now. Because of that, because the engine is having to work so much harder, having to twist the throttle a lot more, the fuel consumption is huge now. I used to be able to get nearly 300 kilometers from a tank of gas. Now I can really, depending on the situation, if it's just a highway ride, I can maybe get 250, but if there's a lot of hills, a lot of curves, a lot of slowing down and speeding up, maybe 230. So what I've decided to do, rather than use the Super Q baffles, is I'm going to remove them and put the stock baffles back in. I'm also going to use this opportunity to kill two birds with one stone and wrap my pipes in fiberglass heat wrap. I really like the look of hand-built bikes, so I'm going to remove the heat shields from the Vance and Hines Shortshots to just kind of give it a home-built look, just something that's appealing to my eye. Just a word of warning, this fiberglass wrap, whatever you do, do not handle this without protective gear. Gloves at a minimum, but also glasses, and once I get into using this, I'll also put my overalls on, because the dust and the particles in this, when they get on your skin, they itch like a son of a bitch. If you've got them on your hands and you scratch your eye, it gets in your eye, it's not worth it. Trust me on this. Wear safety gear when handling this stuff. One of the other things to do is to dampen this heat wrap before it's put on, so that you can keep that dust down to a minimum as well. And I've actually got a roll of this soaking as we speak. So first things first, removing these heat shields. With a bit of luck, I'll be able to reuse these to hold the heat wrap on. So from experience last time, I know that I can remove this top pipe and access then both of the baffles without removing the bottom pipe. What I'm then hoping to be able to do is put the heat wrap on the bottom pipe without actually removing it. Experience always tells me that that doing things like that doesn't always work out, but there is a clear line to be able to feed the heat wrap through right around, as long as I keep in mind that the O2 sensor is here. So we should be able to get from here right round to here with the heat wrap. Let's switch out those baffles. Something to keep in mind, these Super Q baffles seem to be fairly hard to remove, whether it's due to that fiberglass casing. It seems to spin okay and it can come out a certain distance, but there is a point where it's catching and not coming further out. It looks like I'm going to have to work fairly hard to get these out. I actually think I'm stripping the fiberglass wrap off it, and it's probably getting stuck within the pipe. I've squirted WD-40 down there so it knows I intend it to move. Shit. I can only hope the other one comes out much easier. The fiberglass wrap stuck to the inside of the pipe, got twisted around, created a lump, and yeah, was stripped from the baffle. A word of advice, if you want these baffles to come out easy, don't put them in at all. And don't let my advice supersede the advice of a trained professional. getting that baffle out was a mission. It was really just perseverance and some serious blisters that got it out. So I've got the old baffle back in, and then I'm going to look at putting the heat wrap on this bottom pipe, and then I'll have a look at getting the baffle out of the top pipe. Wish me luck. What I'm going to do, I'm going to start wrapping from the back and work to the front. The logic being, as the wrap is wrapped and the next part goes on, it covers over the last part, and when the bike is moving, the air is traveling over that wrap, and hopefully going to avoid getting road grime and detritus stuck in those grooves. It'll just pass over the top, whereas if you started from here and wrapped your way down, there'd be these little raised parts where dirt and dust can get stuck in there and shorten the life of the heat wrap. That's my logic anyway. So I'm wrapping the heat wrap over itself by about half. The logic being there's a double wrap of the heat wrap right across the pipe. And I'm just taking a softly approach, just wrapping it around and passing it through the pipe, pulling it through carefully so as not to fray the tape itself. The fact that it's wet is good, it's helping to shape it. As you're making your way around, if you just twist the areas that you've done, they move their way around and tighten so that it becomes a lot neater and a lot more secure. So just keep doing that as you work your way around, and it'll slowly get nice and tight and firm and straight looking. Just being careful to wrap tidily around the O2 sensor. There's a wire there that goes into the pipe. Just want to make sure I wrap that neatly so you can't really see that there's a join there or that there's something there. I'm just nearing the top now, so I've cut off the excess. I certainly had a bit of overkill in terms of the length. I think I got about 10 meters or something. I don't know, I probably used 4, but really just wanting to make sure that I could get the whole run done with one piece rather than having to join it anywhere. After the effort it took to get that baffle out, I'm pretty pleased that wrapping the pipe was a relatively easy process, just turn after turn, then locking off the ends with those hose clamps that I used from the heat shields. Day 2 of the pipe wrap and baffle change project. The second baffle was even harder to remove. One, because the hex bolt, for whatever reason, got cross-threaded. So I called on my mate Big John, and he's an engineer, so he came around and kind of had a bit more insight into how to remove these things. So we worked at that. Ended up the head of the bolt broke off, which was kind of a blessing in disguise, because then it freed up the baffle. Now, the baffle did exactly the same thing as the first one, where that fiberglass had obviously got stuck to the inside of the pipe, so as it was being twisted it was catching on the inside of the pipe and just not allowing that baffle to come free. So we just had to work at it and work at it and work at it for about half an hour. So it was a hell of a mission. So now it's just a matter of reinstalling the original baffle in the top pipe. I'm just going to get to it and see if I can knock this out pretty smartly. It looks like the screw thread is threaded on this original baffle. Alright, that's the end of the task. I'm really happy with the results. The wrapped pipes just give it that look I was looking for, that more hand-built look. Just the last thing to do is to get that screw hole fixed and a new screw put in. The bolt is sitting proud of the pipe, however it is quite secure, but I'll need to get that sorted ASAP. My hands are destroyed, but at the end of the day, with the help of Big John, it's something that I've done myself, and I'm always really proud of myself for that. So I guess the last thing to do now is just tidy up and then take it for a test drive. Just a quick update on the hex bolt situation holding on that top baffle. On the way home from our ride today, we stopped in at Big John's. He was able to quickly use a threading tool to put the thread back on the bolt hole, and he's put the bolt all in, so it's all secure now, so I don't have to worry about getting another baffle or anything like that. Job done. Pipes wrapped, original baffles back in. I'm very happy. The bike is back to its old self.